It's a bullish day on Wall Street, with the Nasdaq closing at all-time highs. Mark the Meerkat suffering in with the broad market review for April the 23rd, 2015. Yep, standing in for Des here for the next couple of days while he travels out to California. Let's take a look at the numbers. The S&P up 0.25%, and we got the DIA up 0.17. We got the Nasdaq up 0.59, leading the way up, and then the small caps up at 0.45. Now, bank, however, was lagging there and down just a fraction, so that is not quite as bullish as we'd like it to be. All right, let's take a look here at the chart itself. Let's take a look at the daily chart on the S&P 500 using the spider. And here we are. It broke out here above that resistance line. We just closed above it last night, as Des talked about. And now look at this. It struggled all morning to get above the closing line from yesterday. And then boom, right about 11:50, it just took off like a rocket. It was very bullish in the afternoon. So we are definitely in a bullish up leg right now. And if we go to the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the DIA, here we take a look at it is still in its symmetrical triangle. It pierced it, but then pulled back and closed underneath that one. So not quite as bullish here on the Dow. And then we do have the Nasdaq. Closed at all-time highs, breaking a 15-year record. Back on March the 10th, 2000, it was a close there at the 50.46, and now we closed at 50.56 here. Now, it's not an all-time high where it reached intraday. That's a little bit higher here. That's right up here at 51.32, but hey, we'll take what we can get here. It took us 15 years to finally get that high. All right, now we did have some closings here, some important stocks. We had Google. It missed on its earnings, but it was up a couple of percent after market. We got Starbucks up big time. They hit on both cylinders there, both on earnings and on revenue, and they're up big. And then we have Amazon. It came in right as expected at minus 12 cents per earnings, and it rocketed up as well. And Microsoft, it beat by 10 cents, and it was up over 3% initially in aftermarket. So those four horsemen of technical were up. So the Nasdaq probably will have some follow-through again tomorrow. Hey, I'd like to show you, give you an interesting lesson here on the intraday workings of the market. This is the SPY 5-minute chart from intraday, and that yellow line here does represent where it opened. And it gapped down this morning. And then what happened? We call this the gap fill. Look at that. It came right back up here, right back up here. Here's the closing line from yesterday, and it hit that. It pierced it, came right back down, and then fell below it. And look what it did. It came all the way back down here and challenged near the low here at the 100 moving average on the 5-minute chart. And then what did it do? It then reversed back up. And where did it hit its head? Right on that closing line. And then it reversed again. So this closing line can be very strong resistance on a gap down or very strong support on a gap up. But this is very typical behavior where it comes up, fills a gap, and then goes back in the other direction. But it kept doing that all morning. But wait a minute, the market's closed up today, and that's right. Look what happened here right about 11:50. Boom! The markets exploded up, and now they're in the positive, and then they just kept on going for the rest of the day here. Look at that, boom, 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 boom. They ended up being a very bullish afternoon, and then a little bit of sell-off here near the end. But it's just interesting intraday how it was struggling all morning long to get above that closing line. And once it broke out, boy, it was off to the races for the S&P 500. Well, this is Mark the Meerkat suffering. I just want to remind you that we trade what we see, not what we think. Trade well.